Get set for the opening draw today. John Dugenio against Tyler Dunn at the face-off dot. The officials are Charles Baber, Tim Czechia, and Joe Cieslak. 7-2 Rutgers, 8-3 Johns Hopkins. It's the Blue Jays in the white jerseys. It's the Scarlet Knights who have the first offensive touch. Expect to see Jack Amon, 33 in the red, playing attack today. Ross Scott maneuvers in, gets underneath and scores! Scott strikes quickly.
It's always good to get that first face-off because it leads to a first opportunity to score and goal. And Rutgers cashes in. Ross Scott, a terrific player. Quick, uses his feet and his hips to dodge hard, is courageous, gets underneath and keeps going. Notice that he went to the top of the crease without stepping in the crease or the goal mouth. Great start for the Scarlet Knight offense.
Great start, Coach. That's 15 seconds in. Scott, who hails from the great state of Oregon, outstanding in his high school efforts. Hockey player 2, Ross Scott, tied for second in the point-scoring race for the Scarlet Knights, has them out in front quickly over the Blue Jays. The officials resetting the shot clock. John Dugenio out there for Rutgers, 91 in the red. Outstanding last weekend in what was an otherwise game to forget for the Scarlet Knights. A subpar performance for them in a losing effort to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Dugenio, though, had a season-best ground balls. He won 14 of 20 off the draw. He and his mates have to do for this Blue Jays squad. Johns Hopkins, last Saturday in Ann Arbor, a 15-11 winner over the Wolverines. It took Angeles all of 45 seconds to answer the strike from Scott. We're 1-1 here at Homewood. A day that began under cloudy, overcast, and rainy skies.
Both of these teams are answering each other's, taking each other's punches and answer coming right back.
A Rutgers program under Breck's direction that set program records a season ago, a 15-4 mark. They were 4-1 in Big Ten play. They have the ball right back and settling it in the cross of Ross Scott.
Joe, that was Hopkins' second face-off violation. You're allowed 3.5 after that. 30-second technical foul.
Scott Smith chosen to get the defensive assignment on Ross Scott. Knobloch sharing the rock up top with Justin Kim. Sprock, who was held pointless in Columbus on Sunday night, kick it back behind the cage. Sweeping, it's Justin Kim. Bounce shot on the way, that's fought off by Marcille. Tim Marcille, who only played the first half against Michigan last week. Coach Peter Milliman said no doubt it's his net. He wasn't feeling well. Luke Caracciolo came off the bench for the Blue Jays and picked up the win in relief. Dean's out there to defend on Knobloch. Over the top off the skip. Marcille makes the save on that rocket from Kim.
That's 2 nice saves from Marcille on that possession by Rutgers. That's important. Get that confidence built.
Deans looks to run, drop it off. Step shot, score! Raposo, the short stick defensive midfielder, gets offensive. This season against the University of Virginia. Rutgers has taken 3 of the first 4 face-offs, make it 4 of 5 as Rawl came off the wing with a ground ball, then he gets attacked along the sideline. Mazzone able to come up with a scoop for the Blue Jays.
Great ground ball play there by Mazzone.
Control the tempo, keep the tempo in their favor, and he was talking about tiny little victories all over the field adding up to winning the big battle.
Absolutely, Joe. Every play counts, whether it's in the first quarter or the fourth quarter. Every play counts. A lot of those are
right off
balls.
The draw, they score. Melendez, lightning in a bottle.
We talked about Melendez at the opening. He is quick, he's strong, he's got a tremendous lacrosse IQ, and it all starts with the face-off. Ball pops out, now we're running. And just really good anticipation, perfect pass, and a great finish.
Tyler Dunn winning the draw, picked up an assist earlier this season in a game against Georgetown. So the Blue Jays score twice within 6 seconds to double up visiting Rutgers. Just at the midway mark now, the opening quarter. Dugenio gets this draw for the Scarlet Knights. Outstanding wing play and short stick defensive work from Noah Daniels. Daniels has points. Brett Martin, who hails from Long Island, New York, Dix Hills to be specific, gets himself on the scoring card. It's 4 unanswered for the Blue Jays in the last 6 minutes.
Tyler Dunn is coming up with the face-offs. That's
3-sport athlete growing up. Lacrosse, football, basketball on his resume. Goals in all 10 games this season for Dante Koulis. Off the wing, nice scoop there. Scott Smith going to the cage. Smith takes it all the way to the cooker. He scores!
How important are face-offs in this game? Getting possession of the ball gives your team the opportunity not only to get the goal, but also to give your defense a rest. Nice job by Scott Smith. All right, butt ground ball, comes up with a runs through the ground ball, little roll dodge. Now he's coming down and he's got his heads up, little fake to the attackman, frees his hands, and a good finish.
Defenders turning offensive, Don. The short stick D-mid Martin gets on the board. Scott Smith scores. Third time the Jays have struck right off of a face-off win. Smith, who had Big Ten goals against Michigan and Penn State a season ago, strikes right there. It's a 6-3 Hopkins lead.
Another win for Tyler Dunn. He's hot.
Here at Homewood, enjoy a beautiful afternoon for lacrosse. Rawl ran right into the shoulder of Dunn, bounced off of him, finds Dugenio, fast break time, bounce shot, score! Noah Daniels strikes back.
Give credit to Ethan Rawl. Start of the show, we talked about how he is considered the best player on this team. His work ethic is phenomenal on ground balls. And he showed here where he can take a hit. This is good scrappy lacrosse on the face-off, and it's a legal hit. Rawl takes it, makes the right pass, good ball movement. Terrific comeback goal by Rutgers. High bouncer, they're tough.
And all it took was 9 seconds for Daniels to strike again. Noah has goals in 4 straight. Dunn looking for a face-off win against Dugenio, and it's controlled by Mazzone and the Blue Jays. You thought I was kidding about that additional score sheet. We've had 11 goals. Roll possible. Not worried about him on the defensive end. You'll see him occasionally on the wings on the draw as well.
Quite a compliment. And he wants Shane Knobloch to step up and be a leader on the field.
Prior to the opening draw in the second quarter, Dugenio won 7 of the first 13. He gets this one and goes right to the cage. Dugenio sprints in and scores! A beautiful bounce shot to the roof.
Rutgers needed that lift. John Dugenio, Coach Breck thinks he's an outstanding athlete, could play on the first midfield, but his role is to face it off. And boy, right there, you can see how effective he can be, pushing the ball forward and takes it right to the hoop. Protects his stick, comes down, little fake, and the Hopkins defense didn't respect him. If that happens again, see them slide.
Dugenio one-ups Scott by scoring in the first 5 seconds of the second quarter. Coach Brian Breck was comparing Dugenio to the All-American Joe Nardella, who used to work for the Scarlet Knights, an All-Big Ten performer, a PLL champion. He says that Nardella and Dugenio are very, very similar. Great mobility, good we've had in the first half today. Brian Breck said, you know, All-Americans aren't going to always give you All-American type performances. He expected 27 to respond after what was collectively a subpar performance against Ohio State. Credit to the Buckeyes, too. Their defense was excellent in that game, keeping Rutgers to a season-low number of goals.
Good timeout call there by Coach Milliman.
Goals from a short-stick defensive midfielder in Martin, a close defender in Smith. It's been that kind of afternoon, and an 8-7 lead for Johns Hopkins. Face-off possession belongs to Rawl and the Scarlet Knights. Shane Knobloch, each time he gets to lace it up for Brian Brecht against the Blue Jays. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against them last year. He has the hat trick today in an 8-8 game and a timeout call.
Department, and I think Narewski, they've saved him for the second half. You know, he's been banged up. He's coming back. He's not 100%, but I think Hopkins has saved him for the second half. Let's see what happens.
Top 10 matchup today. Johns Hopkins and Rutgers, Big Ten on ESPN. Joe Beninati, Don Zimmerman with you from Homewood Field. Tip of the cap to all the men and women in our technical crew who began the day with a crew call around 5 a.m., which preceded the 11 a.m. start on the women's side. Roll fires. Kim, identical twin brother Andrew, not available today due to injury. Violation off the win, lopsided over Marist, 20-8. Rutgers, 9th ranked in the land at 7-2. They get the possession off the draw again, thanks to Dugenio. We are 10-9 in favor of the Scarlet Knights off this draw. Matt Narewski bowled it on back to Carson Brown. Marcille tiptoeing around his crease to earn possession for the Blue Jays. And now Jack Hawley, a do-it-all type wing player. Reminds us too, Don, to wish Allison Kolek, the head coach of the women's team at Clemson, all the very best as she is being treated for breast cancer. We carry right along with the action, the Big Ten on ESPN. High drama today between Johns Hopkins and Rutgers. We have been Dugenio against Narewski. Narewski wins the draw, goes right to the cooker, bounced it over he's done it again today. At the draw, Dugenio gets possession, then gets bowled. Points in 6 of his last 8. Angelis with another helper, his 3rd on the day. Blue Jays back on top by 1 with 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. Long stick midfielder Ryan Splain here for the Scarlet Knights. Swiveling in towards the cage. In goals, it took him to the 4th to get one today, and now it's a 2-goal bulge for the Blue Jays. Dugenio whistled for the violation. Week to be better than that on this day. Justin Kim on his birthday with a career high 3 goals in this game. But I thought Ohio State's defense was fabulous. Narewski, who's taken over for Dunn, opposite of Dugenio. And it is Narewski who gets the draw.
Look for a timeout here by Coach Milliman.
Well done by Coach Zimmerman here in the booth. That is exactly what happens. The Blue Jays ask for time. Well, Delaware, and now you can count Rutgers among it. Big draw here for Dugenio, and he gets possession for Rutgers. They desperately needed that with less than 4 to go, trailing by 3. Now, who do you call on? Knobloch's pass behind the back, streak to 5. It'll be the longest among Big Ten squads. Narewski's had a big part of that, coming off the pine in the second half, subbing in and doing his best against Dugenio.